you go. Push the little red button. All right, no, right there. You got it. Yeah, come on over here. Jump right up in here in my lap. All right. Can you please show me a card trick?
Yep, pick the 2 cards.
So pick the 2 cards on the top.
Yeah.
Should I show them to you or should I not let you see it?
I already saw this one.
Okay. All right, I will look in here.
No, I'll give you this one.
Oh, this one? Okay. This one? Okay. And I'm going to show the camera. Oh,
give them to
okay.
me?
And then we give them to you. And then put one there. Okay. Flip it.
Now, I'm going to do this and flip it.
Oh. Snap your finger, wave your hand, put a card here. Okay.
Look at them.
Oh! Those are my cards, man. What's up,
didn't
fam? Elijah Shidler here, and welcome back to another episode of Extol We. And this week, Bowden and Daniel are my extras, and I am the ordinary. The videos that went live this last week were Raise the Dead, connected to a video 3.5 years ago in the past called Not My Will. And so proud of Mr. Bowden Bear doing a card trick for you all. And the fact that Bowden does not know how to do card tricks. Azriel has been watching YouTube videos, learning how to do different card tricks, and everybody's just mystified by how she does her tricks. And so Bowden, wanting to get in on the action, has begun doing card tricks for us as a family. As this last week, I was watching the videos and praying through those things, and God brought him to my heart and mind to show me what it's like to have the heart of a child. Bowden has absolutely no fear stepping out to do something that he has absolutely no knowledge of how to do, and that he came here and did it before you all on a worldwide stage just because I asked him to, with confidence, joy, and relish. As I considered that, I saw how that is not a part of my heart. Very often when God calls me to do things that I don't know how to do them or where they're going, I shrink back and get upset with God when he asked those things of me. As you heard in the video, Raise the Dead, that God called me to go into a Latter-day Saints church, a Mormon church funeral, to raise the dead. I went back in my pictures and I actually have the picture of the funeral that I snapped and then sent to my friend Josh. The gentleman here with the kind of tan patch on his shoulder was the gentleman that I was walking towards, and in the spirit that heard him crying out, "Please, someone help me," and was able to impart grace to him and comfort from the Lord. It was such a wild experience. But that as I pressed into that, then this week God has been ministering to my heart likewise in this aspect of showing up in things with confidence and not shrinking back from being received and loved to the fullest extent of who I am. During a men's camp this year, as I sat around a campfire on the last night of camp, I was sitting with my friend Daniel, and he began to ask me questions about whether or not I had a strong sense of hypervigilance in details around me, that I would think of what people were saying or doing and then run those things through in my mind and calculate scenarios. And as he began to ask me more and more questions, he's such a gentle lover of those who are around him, that he was sitting at the campfire and said, "Elijah, could you hear something from my heart for you that I think may be true about your life?" It's like, "Absolutely, Daniel, please let me know." And he said, "Elijah, I think you wrestle with deep trauma in your life." When he said that, I was kicked back against it right away in my heart. I was like, no, I definitely don't have any areas of undealt trauma in my life, but thank you for your input. As he pressed into that, came back home and he gave me a resource in a book, and I began to read the book that I discovered, yeah, I definitely do. I have a lot of trauma in my life. As I've been processing those things with the Lord, he's been teaching me about trauma, and instructing me in this wonderful book that my friend gave to me that trauma is oriented to wounds from your past that your heart doesn't know how to move past. It keeps you stuck at the point where you were wounded. And specifically, the trauma deals with issues in your heart where there was a wound or an experience where you didn't have anywhere to go with that emotion or those feelings or how to resolve it. And then as a result, your heart and mind stay stuck in that moment, such that now forward in time, as you experience things that are not the same but very similar, that it triggers this pain response that your heart and mind run back to this place where your heart and mind are stuck, such that you're re-experiencing the pain and the violation or the trauma from that experience in your past in the present. With that, people who have large areas of undealt with trauma, they have a difficult time living in the moment and not living in the past in that pain. How that then winds up tripping us up as believers is then darkness feeds on trauma. They absolutely love it, because if they can oppress us and keep us stuck in a place where we can't voice what happened, or we can't talk about it or process it or think about it because it exists within an emotional memory, then they're able to nibble on that, gnaw on it, oppress us, and keep us stuck in the past and out of the present tense presence of God's power to show up to destroy their works. As I've been learning all of these things then, this aspect of raise the dead, showing up in something that God has called me to do, to make an appearance, it's so incredibly vital in our lives that we be able to appear in the present time in order to have the Father reveal Jesus through us by the power of His Holy Spirit to destroy the works of the devil in the coming of the kingdom. If I'm stuck in the past, it makes it really hard for me to show up in the present. As I've been journaling and praying and thinking through, one of the phrases that the Lord has given me, and it's helped to rewire my heart and mind in Him in regards to trauma, is that triggers are an invitation to initiate transformation that weaponizes trauma as testimony. Somewhat of a complex statement, and you can go back to see it on the screen again if you need to. But what the Lord has been doing is that He has been rewiring the triggers of pain and discomfort in my life that crop up in this season with God as He discovers things to me, rather than running from it and saying, oh, this is so painful, I do not want to wade into this conversation with you, Lord. Instead, it becomes a trigger that makes me aware that there is some aspect of my life that is attempting to be held hostage by darkness, that God is going to heal me and then introduce to me an aspect of my identity in Him that is accepted, loved, cared for, and confident in Him. Therefore, triggers become the invitation to initiate transformation of those broken areas that then weaponize the trauma as testimony. As soon as God brings healing to those areas of my life of trauma, one, it sets me free to move forward in time, to live in the presence and to make an appearance to destroy the works of the devil. And that then that testimony of whatever happened in my life that caused that trauma being healed now is moved forward as a testimony for other people who are stuck in their trauma, to have the hopefulness to know God can heal their trauma too. Triggers are invitations to initiate transformation that weaponize trauma as testimony. The beautiful thing then, likewise, along with all of these rumblings and ruminations in God, is the following: we don't fear the unknown. If something is unknown, you have no knowledge of it, and therefore have zero capacity to have any thoughts or feelings regarding it. We fear what our imagination, fueled by past hurts, projects into the unknown. Past pain informs future fears through false imaginations. Family, that's what I love so much about my little boy Bowden. Because of his confidence with me as his father, that he is loved, that he is accepted, that he's delighted in, and that he is safe, that he is received, and that I delight in his person, and that he wants to please my heart with these tricks, to see that mystified look on my face of his skill in card tricks. He flips through the deck, snaps his little fingers, waves his hand, is like, ta-da! Out of his childlike innocence, the only thing that he knows is open love and acceptance. Therefore, he has no fear of the unknown when I ask him to do card tricks, because it's safe. His father is calling him into a place of delight, not worrying about an unknown future and what may happen. The reason that we as adults wrestle with an unknown future, or stepping out into things that we've never done before in front of 8 billion plus people, is because of hurts from our past. The imaginations that are false, the broken areas in our past of pain, those imaginations, those false imaginations and those false things of knowledge set themselves up to keep us from a place of knowing our Father more. When the Father calls us out to bear our cross, certainly there are things ahead of us that are very real in regards to suffering, pain, torment, difficulty. But the Father is not calling us into an unknown future to harm us. It says that he has plans for our future, not to harm us, but to prosper us, to give us a future and a hope. You can't have hope without a future. The anticipation of confident good that is out in front of you that does not disappoint. To say that you fear the unknown is to say that you honor your heart and mind, knowledge and experiences of your past, over and above the goodness of our Father to lead you into increased prospering, hope, and goodness. Therefore, when God calls you to the hill that you are to die on, the confident expression was, while I have never done this before, and I don't know what I'm fully getting myself into, I know that my Father is good, and I will follow him with joy into whatever he leads me into. I talked with my friend Christian last week about this aspect, how Jesus invited Peter, James, and John up the Mount of Transfiguration to be with him and to hear the counsel of Moses and Elijah with Jesus, and to hear the declarations of the Father through the cloud of glory, imparting identity to Jesus. Jesus invited Peter, James, and John along with him to be able to be there, to be witnesses, and to hear those things in order to then pray out of those things and encourage Jesus as Jesus went further into the Garden of Gethsemane to wrestle through the dark night of the soul. Peter, James, and John then could sit at the base of a tree through that dark night, making intercession, praying over Jesus to empower him in his moment of torment and travail, speaking out of the things that they had witnessed with Jesus on the Mount of Transfiguration in glory, goodness, and manifest testimony of power. This week then, Jesus showed me this new element in this revelation, that then those men were to be empowered to walk with Jesus to get him to the hill of Golgotha, where he was to lay his life down. So many people say, yeah, no, that's a hill that I'm willing to die on. Yeah, give me that hill. But not realizing the hill that you're meant to die on doesn't currently have a cross erected upon it. That you have to pick up your cross down in the valley and carry that thing to the mountain heights of suffering, to be erected, to lay your life down on, and to accomplish the will of the Father on the hill that you were supposed to die on. Now, friends, it's been so beautiful to consider the inverse relationship involved with Jesus and these three friends that were surrounding him. That Jesus experienced glory, goodness, and grace on a mountaintop, surrounded by three friends who stood with him in his transfiguration to hear the declarations of power and glory on a mountaintop with the Father. That then together they descended down into a valley of the shadow of death, where Jesus was travailed through the sufferings of hell, sweating blood to become willing to do the Father's will with the three men who had heard the declarations with him on the mountain to intercede for him, to help him forward in his calling before the Father. Then Jesus ascended a hill of suffering, of ultimate suffering and torment, and that the three men could walk with Jesus in a glorified, redeemed story, that they were to be the ones who walked with Jesus. And when he got to the point where he said, I can't move forward anymore, I can't press forward any further into being present in what God has called me to do, past the present tense trauma, pain, and torment, that the three were then to come alongside with him, lift that cross with him and say, man, you've gone as far as you can go on your own. You have borne your own burden faithfully, and now we will get you to your LZ, where you're to erect that cross on the hill you're to die on, get on that cross, and give up the ghost on the mountain of suffering. Then Jesus' body was taken off of the cross by his community to fulfill the ultimate expression of the Lord's will for him, to carry his body down into the valley to be planted, and then glory came forth from the grave in the valley, a moment of glory in the valley, that then Jesus ascended to the highest heights to the Father to be reunited with him where he had come from and where he returned to. Friends, isn't that so incredibly amazing? To wrap it all up, my encouragement for you is that out of this overflow of brothers who walk together and say, my friend, I think there are things that are holding you in the past. I think you're bound in the past in trauma that is keeping you from moving forward into the present to make an appearance to destroy the works of the devil. Brother, I'm going to stand with you, and I'm going to call you into doing things that you do not know how to do without fear, because our Father is calling you into his plans of prospering, goodness, and wholeness that will not harm you. No fears, brother, as you step out to stand on the mountain with me, to hear you are the Father's Son, and he delights in you, and all of darkness has to listen to you. Now, let's go into the valley to confront the areas of pain, ascend to the heights with me, do the hard work, step into it, and that in that place of resurrected life, glory is going to come forth and is going to destroy all the powers of darkness. My friends, my encouragement to you is that as you experience areas of pain or difficulty in your life from your past, is so difficult to step into and to process, that Jesus could rewire your triggers into invitations to initiate transformation that would weaponize your trauma into testimony, and that you would then step forward into the unknown with him with the fullest confidence that you are accepted, loved, and received by a Father who loves you with all of his heart, to do magic tricks and the courts of hell to blow the minds and heads off of the powers and principalities of this world, destroying the works of the devil. So if you subscribe to what we are doing, at least myself, Bowden, and Daniel, then hit the button, hit it, and then get it. Hit the bell as well to get notified with the new content. And if you love this video, you didn't just like it, hit that thumbs down button. I pray blessings on all of our lives together. I love you guys lots, and I'll see you in the next video.